Parenting Impact: Shaping Childhood Trajectories, a multimedia project for Dr. Taylor's Developmental Psychology class by Allie White. This project will be discussing the topic of parenting styles and their effects on childhood development. We are going to be discussing 4 prominent parenting styles and their importance, their characteristics, and how they relate unto the child. There are 4 types of parenting styles. Parenting styles encompass the approaches and behaviors that parents use to raise their children. They can vary in levels of warmth, control, and expectations. Today, we will talk about authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and uninvolved styles of parenting and their effects on childhood development. Childhood development is a complex process that begins in the womb and continues until adulthood. It is influenced by biology and the environment and can be shaped positively or negatively. A person's mental health depends significantly on their development as a child. Following a child's development is crucial to ensure it is adequate. This is done mainly by parents and primary doctors through parental observations, routine visits, and screening tools. Once a gap or delay is identified, the correct services should be arranged to optimize a child's well-being and thus the well-being of the future adult. Authoritarian. Parents of this style tend to have a one-way mode of communication where the parent establishes strict rules that the child obeys. There is little to no room for negotiations from the child, and the rules are not usually explained. They expect their children to uphold these standards while making no errors. Mistakes usually lead to punishment. Authoritarian parents are normally less nurturing and have high expectations with limited flexibility. Authoritative. This type of parent normally develops a close, nurturing relationship with their children. They have clear guidelines for their expectations and explain their reasons associated with disciplinary actions. Disciplinary methods are used as a way of support instead of punishment. Not only can children have input into goals and expectations, but there are also frequent and appropriate levels of communication between the parent and their child. In general, this parenting style leads to the healthiest outcomes for children but requires a lot of patience and effort on both parties. Permissive. Permissive parents tend to be warm, nurturing, and usually have minimal or no expectations. They impose limited rules on their children. Communication remains open, but parents allow their children to figure things out for themselves. These low levels of expectation usually result in rare uses of discipline. They act more like friends than parents. Uninvolved. Children are given a lot of freedom as this type of parent normally stays out of the way. They fulfill the child's basic needs while generally remaining detached from their child's life. An uninvolved parent does not utilize a particular disciplining style and has a limited amount of communication with their child. They tend to offer a low amount of nurturing while having either few or no expectations of their children. Parental involvement and warmth are significant predictors for academic achievement. Also, there is a significant positive relationship between firm parenting style and students' academic achievement. It has been found that very successful students at school with high scores had parents with firm styles. Let's note there's a positive relationship between parents' firm parenting style and students' career path. This means that when the amount of the firm and reassuring parenting style increases, the score of career path increases, and vice versa. Children that grow up with authoritarian parents will usually be the most well-behaved in the room because of the consequences of misbehaving. Additionally, they are better able to adhere to the precise instructions required to reach a goal. Furthermore, this parenting style can result in children who have higher levels of aggression, but may also be shy, socially inept, and unable to make their own decisions. This aggression can remain uncontrolled as they have difficulty managing anger, as they were not provided with proper guidance. They have poor self-esteem, which further reinforces their inability to make decisions. Strict parental rules and punishments often influence the child to rebel against authority figures as they grow older. Authoritative parents or parenting results in children who are confident, responsible, and able to self-regulate. They can manage their negative emotions more effectively, which leads to better social outcomes and emotional health. Since these parents also encourage independence, their children will learn that they are capable of accomplishing goals on their own. This results in children who grow up with higher self-esteem. Also, these children have a high level of academic achievement and school performance. Limited rules can lead to children with unhealthy eating habits, especially regarding snacks. This can result in increased risks for obesity and other health problems later in the child's life. The child also has a lot of freedom as they decide their bedtime, if or when to do homework, and screen time with the computer and television. Freedom to this degree can lead to other negative habits as the parent does not provide much guidance or moderation. Overall, children of permissive parents usually have some self-esteem and decent social skills. However, they can be impulsive, demanding, selfish, and lack self-regulation. The children of uninvolved parents usually are resilient and may even be more self-sufficient than children with other types of upbringings. However, these skills are developed out of necessity. Additionally, they might have trouble controlling their emotions, less effective coping strategies, may have academic challenges, and difficulty with maintaining or nurturing social relationships. In different parts of the world, people have similar ways of raising their children, but there are also many differences. These differences happen because of various reasons. One reason is that different cultures have different rules about how people should behave. For example, in some places, it's normal for extended family members or siblings to take care of children, while in others, parents do most of the caregiving. Another reason is that the environment where people live affects how they raise their children. For instance, in Nigeria, Yoruba parents teach their children about food based on the seasons. During rainy seasons when food is plentiful, they teach them to be careful with resources and to wait patiently for meals. This is because food is scarce during dry seasons, so they want their children to be prepared. Researchers study these differences by looking closely at one culture at a time. They examine how beliefs and values in each culture influence parenting practices. For example, they might analyze conversations between mothers and children to see how cultural values are passed down. So while there are some similarities in parenting across cultures, there are also important differences influenced by cultures, values, and environmental factors. Early intervention is crucial in promoting positive parenting practices and supporting healthy child development. It can be said that the central theme that arises from the study is that of the parent as a central figure who leads, feels, designs, and educates their child. Parent training at the various levels needs to be client-focused, i.e., parent-child, and situation-focused with an emphasis on learning and the need for consistency in managing parent-child interactions. Every intervention needs to begin with evaluating needs and choosing whether to use a center-based model or to which parents come with their children or home visiting or a combination of both, with treatment being family-focused. The key points you can pull from this project are that parenting styles significantly impact child development, authoritative parenting leads to the healthiest outcomes, cultural and environmental factors also influence parenting practices. Early intervention and parenting training are essential for promoting positive parenting practices and support healthy child development, and tailored interventions are necessary, focusing on the needs of the parents and the children, whether center-based, home visiting, or a combination thereof.